I'm Dave Dyas. I'm the Vice President of the System Integrator Alliances at CenturyLink. It's funny because you look at our careers, right? My career, my peers' careers, Bill's career, they all have tons of rock star moments. And, when I look at the alliances, it's like, when did that happen? When did that aha moment take place? And, it was many years ago. I was working for a smaller company, and we were competing against the big boys, and it was a big deal. It was a really big deal. And I came in at the tail end, right? I took over a leadership role at the tail end of this, but I watched things happen from a sales perspective. And quite frankly, my team won the opportunity. And it was a long-term opportunity because it was thousands of locations globally. So the deployment was going to be over many years. And after winning, right, we were the smaller company and we won against the big boys. The customer said, hey, one of the requirements is diversity. And so instead of creating our own diversity plan, we called in our competitor. And we called them in and we said, hey, we would like to create a diversity plan with you. We know you lost the primary, but we'd like to leverage you as a secondary, and we'll help you do that. And that was kind of a shining moment to say, it's interesting what alliances can be built, right? You win, you lose a deal, but at the end of the day, you have to look at that and say, it's for the good of the customer. At the end of the day, it's for the good of the customer. And two competitors work together. So that was kind of the start. That was many years ago, but that was the start of saying, wow, you truly can have alliances at all levels, right? You can have them as competitors. You can have them as your friends. You can have them as your partners. It doesn't matter. Alliances look different to everybody.
It's so funny, you go backstage, right? It's really, really dark. And I'm just thinking about a couple of things. First thing I thought about was a couple of months, I'm going to be celebrating my 7-year anniversary at CenturyLink. How weird is that? It seems like it was just yesterday. But what's funny about that is I've spent about 5 years at a meeting just like this with all of you. And I got to say, I think some things have changed in the last 5 years. So last night was so much fun. It was a long day for us doing this, but to be able to be at the after party with all of you and to talk to you about all the successes that you've had over the past year has been amazing to me. First and foremost, congratulations to everybody. Business is growing, things are good, it's exciting, and it's fun, the partnerships that we all have together. And for those of you that know me, I'm passionate about a lot of things, right? First and foremost, I love being with my family, my wife and my 2 boys. Second, I love being on the water, right? If I'm on the water or near the water, it's my passion, it's my love, it's my peace, it's what I like. And lastly, what you may not know is I've got a huge passion for cars. I don't know, it started when I was young. It doesn't matter if they're old or new, fast or slow, with technology, without technology, I love them. And there's a new type of car that's actually, let's see if this thing works. There's a new type of car that's out today, and it's not called a supercar. It's actually called a hypercar. Anybody familiar with it? The term? Some of you are, you're rich. So I'll tell you 3 of my favorites right now. The first one in the upper left-hand corner, that's called a Bugatti Chiron. See, Bugatti created this car a couple of years ago. It has 1,500 horsepower. It'll do 260 miles an hour. It's amazing. It's fast. And Bugatti's parent company, which is Volkswagen, says early on that they don't make any money on this car. In fact, they said they lost money on this car, which I find hard to believe because the car cost nearly $3 million. The second one down below, that's called a Porsche 918. That's a hybrid. Now, when I say hybrid, don't think Prius, right? This car has 4 electric motors, 1 on each wheel. It's coupled with a gas engine, and it produces nearly 1,000 horsepower. It's screaming fast. I mean, and it's gorgeous. And the last one on the right, that's called the Ferrari LaFerrari. That too is a hybrid. But if you think you can go to a dealership and buy this car, think again, right? You have to be a current owner of Ferraris. You have to have a relationship with Ferrari, and you have to be invited to actually buy the car. They produced about 500 of these cars, and last year, one of them went up for auction. It was used, and it went for nearly $7 million. You know, the funny thing about all of these cars, right, is they're all measured the same way, right? Think about it. They're measured on how fast they go from 0 to 60. I mean, just think about it. You're taking over 1,000 horsepower, you're adding technology to it, and you have to get the power to the wheels quick enough for it to go 0 to 60 in a straight line. And all three of these cars do that in roughly 2.5 seconds. But it took all three of those cars nearly 100 years to get to where they're at today. 100 years of development to go 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. And it cost millions of dollars to acquire that car, any of them. So I told you the car industry is interesting to me. But what I find even more interesting is what's taken place in the last 10 years. You see, in the last 10 years, there's a new type of car company that was actually created. It's a company called Tesla, right? So Tesla wanted to create a different type of car. They wanted to create an all-electric vehicle, a car that could technically be powered by the sun, right? All electric, no gas engine. They wanted to have 4 doors. The Model S was created back in 2012. Last year, they created the Model S P100D. The car's amazing. 4 doors, carries up to 7 passengers, goes over 300 miles on a single charge. And the funny thing about this car and what Tesla does is they actually do software updates. They do them probably every 6 weeks. And a couple of weeks ago, they did a software update to all the Teslas that are out there. And this car went 0 to 60 in 2.28 seconds. In the last 10 years, a brand new automaker came out and did things completely different. And they broke the records. This car you can buy for roughly $150,000. Yes, it's a ton of money, I get it. But it's not millions of dollars, and it didn't take 100 years to get there. See, the one thing Tesla knew, that in order to deliver this type of car, they had to have great alliances. They had to have great partnerships with companies that are not typical to the auto industry. Tesla went out to Linux for the operating system for the car. They went to Google and Garmin for the maps and directions, and they went to Panasonic for the battery. You see, in order to create a great car company, you have to have great alliances to enable the brand. Partnerships are created to enable a solution, a technology, or a service. And when they work, it works really well. And I think for Tesla, it's just the beginning. If you look at the System Integrator Alliances, it was designed to help our partners deliver on the promises and dreams that they've created and their visions. And for those of you in the audience, like IBM, HPE, General Dynamics, Price Waterhouse, and Accenture, it's been an incredible journey. But I'll guarantee you it's only the beginning. 5 months ago, when I took on the SI organization, I looked at what do we do? How do we do it? What do we deliver? And why? And we wanted to create our vision. And so we dug deep. We worked with our marketing department, Tina Smith, who you'll see, Christina Reed, who's in the audience somewhere. Back there, love our marketing team. And we looked at, how do we create a vision that really embraces what we do? And it really came down to 3 things. We empower people, enable technology, and turn innovation into reality at every corner of the world. You see, for CenturyLink, we knew it's not all about us. Our goal is to view the world through the eyes of the SI, to take their goals and visions and to enable them through our assets and our intellectual property. Whether you're communicating data via an SD-WAN for an IoT solution, or you're managing and monitoring devices around the globe for critical applications for smart cities and campuses. When I took over the team, I looked at it and I said, hey, it's small, but it's mighty. We're dealing with the largest SIs in the world. But I wanted to invest further in their development. You've come to rely on us to co-develop solutions with you. We've invested in leadership, additional sales headcount, marketing, and business development in order to help you deliver on your industry-leading solutions. All of those members are in the audience, and I invite all of you to introduce yourself to them. If you look at what's happening in the auto industry today, Tesla in particular, they're changing the game. What used to be an oil-driven industry is now turning to a hybrid or pure electric. IoT, internet access, data-driven applications are all becoming the norm. And it's not driven by one company. Applications are driven by partnerships. People that are making bold moves. They're having creative thought, and they're doing joint engagements. Because at the heart of every great idea, there's one person who's bold enough to start the conversation. That conversation could change our lives, or it could change an industry. If you recall my video of my rockstar moment, one team brought together a competitor to round out the solution for the good of a customer. My message to you is simple: not to hold back on your bold ideas. Competitors can work together for the good of a customer or an industry, and you never know how it's going to change the world that we live in. For 2017, looking at all of our SI partners and everyone else in the audience, my commitment to you is this. If you have an idea, a bold statement, a creative thought, we're not only here to listen, we're here to see how we can help each other and take your idea and turn it into a reality. But the reality is, it all starts with a conversation. So let's start talking today. Thank you.